Welcome, Mary Medlock, Ron Nelson, Darlene, Greg, and Pat Schaefer. Patrick, Lane, Brad, Lynn, Karina, Deborah Delahunty, Carlene, Edith, Pat Schaefer, Gary Heron. Wow, wow. Good morning, good morning. Does this sound a little familiar to you?
Good morning, CSLCB Valley. I miss you. How are you today? Well, stand up. Let's dance. Here we go. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Walking and talking with my mind stayed on spirit. Walking and talking with my mind stayed on spirit. Walking and talking with my mind stayed on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. What? Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah.
Thank you, Sherry Deeds. That is so sweet to have you be able to bring us our Woke Up This Morning song and to welcome everybody to our live stream this morning. Julia, so good to see you here, and Joyce and Dorothy and Terry's in the house here, and Bridget and Sandy and Al. So many of you. It's just awesome to be able to connect with you this way. I was watching about a half hour ago. I was watching Dr. Susan Play and Learn with Dr. Susan at 9:30 on Sunday mornings. We'll talk more about that. And that was just really awesome to have that. And I'm joined here with my executive producer and note dropper, Reverend Johanna, who's standing by here. So that's wonderful. It's great to know that Darlene was out dancing to the song. So that was really a wonderful experience to watch as well. And just wanted to let you know that as we go through the service today, yeah, of course, a lot of things going on with the COVID and the safer at home and everybody trying to quarantine themselves. If you see me touching my face, I did use my hand sanitizer just before service. So there was a guy that said something about he puts his hand sanitizer on and then he touches his face about 19 or 20 times to get it out of the way, because it's just something about saying don't do that, right? Don't scratch your nose, don't sneeze, don't yawn, all those things. What happens, you sneeze, you yawn, you scratch your nose. But with so much of that taking up the air and the news cycle and our consciousness right now, we really are bringing you a service that is as close to what you would get if you were in the sanctuary as we possibly can do, and also staying with the topic too, because this is the month of the divine feminine. This is International Women's Month, and so what I wanted to do was to bring you a service that continues to stay with that theme of expressing the divine feminine, exploring the divine feminine, which is not just to talk about ladies. The divine feminine is to talk about that serious wholeness within each and every one of us. We are both masculine and feminine within ourselves, and as we express that and are aware of that, then we're able to live a more full and whole life. So we're definitely going to do that. Oh, Patty Justice is with us. Does that mean I don't have to? Oh, I got a note from Johanna. In the note from Johanna, that was a note to me that I just about read to you. So wait a minute. Hold on a minute while I read this note that's only to me. Do I need to write down all the... Okay. David Goldberg is with us this morning, as is Reverend Jennifer. So awesome to have all of you here in the house this morning with us. We had a special, we're also celebrating, not only is it International Women's Month, but it's also the closing week of the season for nonviolence. We had a great activity planned for us for next week. We're going to have Gerald Rivers do his rendering of Dr. Martin Luther King. Then we're going to have an international food festival featuring foods from soul food for Dr. King, Indian food for Gandhi, who's also part of the international season for nonviolence. And then we're going to have Mexican food for Cesar Chavez, who's part of the founders or the inspiration for this time. We obviously will not be having the food fest, but I talked to Gerald yesterday. We will have a guest appearance with Gerald Rivers next week, and he will do his rendering of Dr. King. And from his in person, he embodies Dr. King when he does that, and he embodies it just in his body, but also in his consciousness. So we're going to use that channeling that he's able to do to bring some wisdom around what's going on in our culture today, what's going on in our world today, to see what kind of reflections he has around that. So just want to acknowledge that and let you know that that's some of the things that we're going to do, because what we try to do is to always bring you as much as possible an experience that is an example of how we bring our vision and our mission statement into life. If you're with us and you're watching on your screen, pay attention right now, because we're going together to do the vision and mission statement, followed by our announcements delivered today by the beautiful Reverend Johanna. Here we go. You ready? It is: we're community, inclusive, loving, and authentic. We celebrate all paths to God in gratitude, empowering self and others. We serve compassionately through outreach, inspiration, and education. That's who we are. That's why we're here. And here's what we do.
Yes, and this week at Center for Spiritual Living, Simi Valley, Dr. Susan Helton, our Director of Youth and Family Services, will be posting lessons on our YouTube channel, which is CSL Simi Valley. She will be posting it on Tuesdays and Thursdays so that families with children at home can participate in activities based on our Science of Mind principles while having fun with their parents. It's a great way to stay connected to during the week. And then on Sunday mornings at 9:30 a.m., you can also watch Dr. Susan live for a special youth and family service. You'll find that live stream on our website, cslcme.org. Join Reverend Stephen on Facebook Monday through Saturday for practicing oneness at one. It's a few moments of reflection, contemplation, and centering focused on keeping our teachings in the forefront of consciousness, while so many of us continue to follow prudent practices related to COVID-19 events. This Wednesday, April 1st, is the monthly Simi Community Salon, sharing our hearts through the arts. Yes, we continue to offer that through Zoom. So look for the email that will come in your mailbox. It will have the link for the Zoom meeting. It starts at 7. It will go till about 8:30. And have something ready to read: a poem, a story, a piece of fine art, a song that is related to nature. We all can use some nature right now. And make sure to keep an eye on your email for updates throughout the week, especially in our 2 weekly e-blasts, where you will find a list of Simi community resources like hot lunches available at the Senior Center, to a host of activities compiled by our home office, like the Cozy Couch series, CSL musicians providing concerts online, and many other events. This weekly email also contains links to all of our online activities. That's where you also find a link to our giving page, where you can donate to support our spiritual cooperative. And that's it, Reverend Stephen. Oh, wait a second. Normally we say, and we welcome everybody on live stream. So I welcome everybody, because we're all on live stream.
Thank you, Reverend Johanna. Beautiful. I really enjoy it. This is so amazing to be able to do this. And if you watch me and you see I'm my head bopping up and down, I have a little control screen in front of me here that is allowing me to move these different videos together. I want to recognize that Kathy Bell is with us. Mary D's in the house. Is Peter watching too, or is he playing around with the Tesla? Wally and Colleen, and thank you so much for you being here. Sanford and Jim and Cheryl and Jan Daly. Wow, it's so wonderful, because I now that I have all the names here, not only do I have the names, but I kind of know where you sit, right? So I can see Wally and Colleen back along the back wall with Mary and Lane and Bridget, all of you back there, okay? And then Sanford and Eileen, okay, so sometimes you're to the left, but every now and then you throw me off and you go over to the music side somewhat. Jan Daly right up front with you and John and Terry. That's awesome. Bridget back in the back with everybody. Okay, and then Karina and Patrick to the front, just to the left, second row. It's awesome. Gary, floating around, never know where you're going to be. Sometimes you're behind a camera, sometimes you're not. Carlene, I think this is your slide day. You're supposed to be here pushing the slides. Okay, let's move forward. It's time to go into your practitioner of the day, which is Reverend Johanna, who will be bringing you the reading, the affirmation, and the treatment this morning. Reverend Johanna. Technical difficulties. Let's try this again.
And the affirmation for this service is, I honor Spirit's divine spark in all its creations, including this mandarin right here. I welcome its limitless forms of expression. Am I here to grow? Yes! Now let's say it all together. I honor Spirit's divine spark in all its creations. I welcome its limitless forms of expression. Am I here to grow? Yes! Amaterasu is the goddess of light and the most powerful deity in the Shinto religion. She's the solar goddess of Japanese mythology. Her name means shining in heaven. The most well-known legend of Amaterasu is when she gets in a fight with her brother, god of the storms and of the sea. His violence makes Amaterasu so upset and angry, she retreats into a cave, leaving the world in darkness. To entice Amaterasu to come out, the divine being of merriment places a mirror at the entrance of her cave and laughs so much that Amaterasu becomes curious. She peeks outside the cave and sees a beautiful goddess, a stunning vision of the dawn. She's in awe of it, not realizing it is her own reflection. Surrounded by laughter, Amaterasu's anger and depression lift, and she agrees to leave the cave, bringing her light with her back into the world. The cave can be so crucial for all of us, drawing inward to restore ourselves and to heal. But when we hide our light, we aren't the only ones left in the dark. We take our light from the ones who love us as well. If we've been too long in retreat, if we've been hiding our light not out of self-love and a soulful need for restoration, but out of a reaction to a circumstance, then we can draw ourselves out by focusing on the joy of others. Seeing their light allows us to see our own.
Thank you, Reverend Johanna. That's absolutely sweet. I love that story and coming out of the cave, how we can bring ourselves out of the cave. It's just amazing. I want to welcome a few more of our live streamers. Meridian Christie from the Bay Area, awful sweet. And Brianna Felding, Jim and Ruth Collins' niece and granddaughter. So that's awesome. And Linda Legman and Reverend Maggie and Reverend Rob, so happy to have you here. And Diane Klemzak, welcome. Social Loungers. We got an idea on how social loungers can go through Zoom and still have their social lounger activity. We'll talk to you about that later on this week. Okay, so that was the story. That was the reading for today. Let's go to our opening treatment. Reverend Johanna for our opening treatment. Thank you.
Now it's time for our affirmative prayer. Please take a deep breath and let it go. And I'm so grateful to know that there's truly only one divine presence, one divine consciousness that is of the form of love. One divine presence that is present in all its fullness, in every point in space and time. Therefore, it is right here, right now, when I'm recording this prayer, but it's also right here, right now, and it's played during service, and it's right here and right now for everybody who listens to this prayer. It is here in all its fullness, all the love, all the well-being, all the abundance, all the knowingness, all the power is present right here. So I declare and accept that this divine presence just lights up our hearts, that the flame of this divine presence just is shining so brightly, is burning so brightly within each one of us, and is burning so brightly and is shining so brightly within this service, that it lifts up not only each and every individual present at this moment, but each and every individual that comes to watch this later on, and each and every individual that is just even remotely related to us. So with this knowingness, with this light, we uplift ourselves and we uplift the world. And for this, I'm just so grateful, and I let it be, and so it is.
And so it is. I really love the theme that you weaved through your prayer, your story, and your treat and the affirmation, and that is of light and shining our light and coming out to the story of Amaterasu. Absolutely amazing. A bright light in my life. T. Michael joining us from St. Paul. Caught you at Unity South St. Paul this morning. Beautiful singing, beautiful music. Viviana Harvey is with us, a lovely practitioner from Founders, and just so grateful to have so many of you here with us this morning. And one of the things we also do is part of our spiritual practice, and I don't know if you've been doing this. We talked about this last night in a sweet Zoom dinner party, which is an amazing event to share dinner with a bunch of people over internet. But we talked about the value of increased spiritual practice, and one of the things that happens at this time is it's really important, Ralph Seaman, to double up on our spiritual practice, because the news cycle and just the change in our culture, the change in our environment, to go to a store and have to be 6 feet apart from everybody, to have people walking around with masks on and gloves on, and the prudent separation, all of that, it has an effect on us that sometimes you don't even recognize. Why did you got a little tense? Why did you get a little nervous this week? Why did you get anxious? Why are you snappy? It's a time to double down on spiritual practice, including meditation. And so we have it as a regular part of our service where we go into meditation, we go into the gap, and I want to invite you to go into the gap with us as Reverend Johanna guides us in a short 3-minute meditation.
Let's just all take a deep breath and let it go, and prepare ourselves for meditation. So wherever you are, just make sure that you sit up straight, pull your shoulders back, and just watch your breath going in and flowing out. And between the inhale and the exhale and the inhale, there's a gap, there's a space. So just notice your breath, notice the gap, and then notice your breath again. And in that gap, that's where we can see the fullness of ourselves. We will be meditating for 3 minutes. And take a deep breath. And if you haven't done so already, open your eyes. Just take a moment for the meditation to settle in. Let it settle into your body so you take it with you for the rest of the day.
Thank you, Reverend Johanna. That was sweet. That was a sweet 3 minutes. How many of you caught my neighbor playing his drums in the background? That was a really sweet little bongo concert that was sort of impromptu there that we got to witness. So the sanctuary, the virtuality sanctuary of spirituality is truly filling up. We call this a new form of church called virtual church, right? And so I want to welcome Auntie Ruth to the house. Charleston, South Carolina is here. Skip, New Mexico, Skip Bellier is here. And two beautiful reverends, Reverend Sidney Lehman and Reverend Michelle Wadley are with us, and Joan Doyle, practitioner from the Fab 4 class of 2004, and John Newbill, our lead of our ecclesiastical corps at Simi Valley. So welcome all of you into the service. And, you know, we are so blessed with such beautiful talent within our community, and also beautiful talent that has come from our community. One of them, our very own Jason Powers, and he's joining us with his beautiful bride, Heather Powers, to bring us some music for today. So they are our musical guest artists for today. Looks like I might be frozen, but it'll start rolling again in a minute. And here we are, bringing you Jason and Heather Powers.
Hi. Good morning, CSLC me.
Oh, it's so good to be with you, even in this different form. It's a great creative way to be together.
It feels a little weird, but it's all good. We're here with you, and we're here by ourselves. So we're interfacing with this camera. But thank you, Steve. Thank you, Sherry, for calling us in. We always love to commune with you all, as we know that CSLC is a home away from home for us. So knowing that right where you are, health is, right where you are, abundance is, because that is the nature of what we are. And so it's our joy to bring you a chant. What chant are we doing today?
We're going to do Loka Samasta Sukhi no Bhavantu.
Can you say that again?
Loka
Samasta
Sukhi no.
Bhavantu.
And it just simply means, may all beings be happy.
May all beings be free.
And may the words and thoughts and the feelings that I have contribute to the well-being of all.
So we invite you right where you are in your home to sing with us. We'll do this a couple rounds. And as we do, we sing it in English and in Sanskrit. And so this is a prayer in this time, in this mystery that is this life. May you be happy. May you be free. And may what you do in life, right where you are, contribute to that very thing. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free. May my words and thoughts and feelings be the blessing this world longs to see. May all beings be happy. And may all beings be free. May my words and thoughts and feelings be the blessing this world longs to see. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta this world longs to see. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. 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 May you be happy.
May you be happy.
May you be free.
May you be free.
And may what you do, you say, and you think contribute to the freedom and the happiness of those in your home, in your community, and the world at large. We just want to be happy and free. This is our peace prayer to you and to all life. Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Namaste.
Oh, my bad. That's stuff that happens. Thank you so much for letting me know that the volume wasn't there. So let me re-coordinate. Let me do a couple things here. I got some stuff to take off. Take that thing off right there. Go back to what I was saying. So what I was saying was, no, that's unfair. I shouldn't do that. What I was saying is that it's so awesome to be able to tune in to so much church. There's so what I call virt right now, so much virtual spirituality available to us. I watched Mahai's service today. Roger Teal had a great conversation with Marianne Williamson. Go to their Mahai church and listen to that a little bit later today if you want to. I watched my brother sing at Unity St. Paul. I know that some of us were watching different centers all around the country, and at a time when there's so much coming at us, it's really important for us to get grounded in our spiritual practices. Johanna and I here have up-leveled our meditation practice. One of the things that we do here is we use tuning forks, and you can just tune into that perfect frequency that's within each and every one of us. I've got my tongue drums over here. If you haven't seen a tongue drum, this is what it looks like. And just playing that just mellows things out and takes away some of the edge. Because I notice that it's so easy to get edgy, to get snappy at things because you're going around and we're seeing things so different than they've had been. But if we can get silent for a little bit and go into that gap space, right, and allow the wisdom to rise up within us, our creativity can expand. There's something here for us to expand through this process. So I just want to acknowledge that and let that be a part of what we're talking about. So many folks, I don't know if I recognized all these. I'm going to say them again. Okay, so Saul plays our drums. So I'm looking now over into the music pit. Yo, Saul, how you doing? And Steve and John over in the music pit with Sherry. Mona over here to the left of me. And then Marianne sitting over here to the right in front of the music pit. Debbie Barecki, we're kind of just centered over next to the pole there in the front. Andrew Carroll Brown, our music choir director. Nancy and Dan, the avocados got ripe yesterday. Oh my God, they are so sweet. Thank you so much for that. And Dorothy and Colin, stick around. Any of you that like to watch superhero movies, I think it's DC Comics, and you know how at the end of the movie the credits roll and then something else happens? We're going to stick around at the end of the service. Don't go away. Colin and Dorothy are amazing. Mark and is here. Jean Flath, welcome to you as well. And just really awesome to have so many folks in the room. I can feel the presence of the sanctuary as we go into today's talk. And today's talk is flowing from this exploration of the divine feminine within us. Today's talk title is Our Fluid Universe Right Next Door. Our Fluid Universe Right Next Door. Okay. So let me get this right this time, because last week I turned to the camera and I looked over here and you guys were still over here. But this week I remember that when I do my talk, I turn over here. Our fluid universe right next door. I've got some notes here on my iPad, on my laptop, so I'll be looking off a little bit. So this is about the exploration of the divine feminine. The divine feminine and its expansion. And it's being called for us in our culture today to expand in so many ways. Yes, I could make this whole talk about COVID and use how our fluid universe is right next door and all the opportunities around COVID and coronavirus to expand. But there's more than that that's happening. It began happening before this. There's so much happening in our world to cause us to expand, so much distress and also opportunity at the same time. I was reading about the microloans and how many of those microloans, $300-400, were given to women in Pakistan and India and Afghanistan, and how these women, first off, didn't have the collateral for the loans, and their payback rate at the Gaiman Bank is in the neighborhood of 90%. Okay, tell that to Wells Fargo or Citibank. Their payment rate is higher than these larger financial institutions who make you sign away your firstborn to get a loan. They gave the money to these women, primarily women at the start, who then developed businesses and began to even go back to the bank afterwards and get loans to buy homes and to move into homes that they never thought they would live in. We are so privileged in our culture. We're so privileged. These are people I read about that move into a home with a tin roof and an indoor toilet, and it's a palace. It's a palace. Think about that the next time you think, I'm not going to turn on the tap water. I want to buy bottled water. Are you kidding? There are people who walk miles a day to get some water. And their measurement in our culture is minuscule, because why? That person's not contributing to the gross domestic product, to the GDP, to how much money we make. People are tied to how much money they make, not how much value they bring. That's part of the expansion of the divine feminine, bringing us an opportunity to move beyond the labels and boxes that we hold people into, and to equip us for the growth that's available for us to see the Spirit in everyone. The Spirit in everyone. This week, my heart just broke in two as I listened to a newscast on NPR. You know, the NPR, they have that driveway time. I literally was driving into the driveway and the story came on. I had to sit in the car in the driveway to hear the end of it. This young gymnast was an Olympic gymnast, and they talked to her about the fact that the Olympics were being postponed. She happens to be a Chinese American. They asked her how she was dealing with the COVID virus outbreak. She said she's doing pretty good, except she's terrified for her mother who won't go out. And she's hurt personally for herself. She was walking down the street in her neighborhood just trying to get some air. And a person ran up to her right in her face and screamed, "COVID virus, because of you." She's Chinese American. It's not because of anybody. It's because a virus is a living cell that's filled with protein packets surrounded by a hard shell that's trying to find a host with which to live. It doesn't come from any place. It comes from the planet itself. It's part of the bioorganisms on the planet. But at the same time that's happening, and this cruelty is happening, we're being called to expansion. We're seeing where neighbors are dropping off groceries for neighbors, or choosing to help one another. You see, simple things can be available to us. How we identify various people, how we decide who and what people are. Pronoun use has become a very big deal. Maybe you remember in some of the, if you watched any of the Democratic debates, you might remember that there was a debate in which Kamala Harris introduced herself as, "My name is Kamala Harris, my pronouns are she, her, and hers. My name is Stephen Rambo, my pronouns are he, him, and his." Some people's pronouns are Z and here, spelled H-I-R. Some people's pronouns are they. Some people's pronouns are simply their name, Monique. It's important that we allow ourselves to expand beyond the labels and the boxes and the identifications that we put into people's lives. It's part of Spirit's plan. Spirit's plan says that, well, there we go. Out of a vast universality, the Spirit is individualized as spirit, as soul, as body, in a unique way in each one of us. In a unique way in each one of us. I think I just did it again. There we go. So when we're thinking about this fluid universe that we live within, this vast universality that is being individualized as a spirit, as a soul, as a body, uniquely in each one of us, that uniqueness is taking form always, and always taking new form. So this call to use different pronouns for people who are exploring the idea of gender versus sexuality, versus biological sex, exploring the experience of gender, it's really, if you think about it, it's part of that expansion. Male masculinity and femininity exists within us both, right? And those people that are trying to experience that on an outward way and using their verbiage to also experience that are really looking at a new way of wholeness. And we're being called to a new way of wholeness. So if you know someone who wants a special pronoun different from what you have historically used, it's important to listen to that and say, yes, it is a big deal. Because see, when we're not recognizing the individual expressions of God, when we say things like, "I'm colorblind, I don't see color," when we say things like, "Oh, what's the big deal that he wants to be called he or she or Z or there? What's the problem with it? I don't really get what that's all about." What you're in effect saying, what you're in effect doing, is you're denying the magnificence of the divine. You're denying the perfection of spirit. Your choice to stay comfy in the box you've lived in is your choice to not see the vastness of spirit, to deny God. See, it's hard on us. It becomes hard on us internally when we do those various kinds of things. As Anis Zen says in this wonderful quote, "And the time came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom." And the time came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom. We are coming to that time. We are in that time. We are in that time where it is just too risky to stay bound up in the tight bud. It's time to open up. It reminds me of a poem that I read some time ago by Diane Chapman Walsh. It's called Pot Bound. She was talking with a fellow who asked her a question. And so she wrote a poem in response to the question he asked. And her poem is, he asked me a question I'd never considered before. When is it that you know you have to go someplace else? When is it that you know you have to go someplace else? At first I think, I don't know. Don't go. Never have. Just try to please. Do what's expected. Bloom where I'm planted. But then the answer germinates in the soil of my mind. That's a great line. Then the answer germinates in the soil of my mind. I see a potted plant, roots protruding from the drainage hole in the bottom, ready to grow, bursting to grow. After weeks or months or years of putting its root system down, of consolidating its power, husbanding its resources, it has reached a crisis point, lost its equilibrium, has to grow, has to go. I run down to the cellar and root around for a larger pot, a little larger only, so my vulnerable plant won't wilt in the unstructured vastness of a new world without apparent walls. I have to smash the old pot to rescue my restless plant, impacted root system now naked in my hand. A small sacrifice, but a radical operation to deliver the plant from death. Without the space to grow, it will shrivel and die. When is it that I know I have to go someplace else? When I have to grow or die. This poem has such powerful lines in it. The idea that we're being called to expand, but not a bunch, just a little bit. We're not called to live in the vastness of infinity. That would just be mind-blowing. God does that. We don't only have to live in the limited experience that we have, but we can expand and push that limited experience outward and outward and outward so that we get a wider horizon and a wider view on life. And you know what? It does sometimes call us to smash the old pot to rescue the restless plant. We are sometimes called to smash where we are to rescue the restless plant within us. And you know what? That smashing and that restlessness puts us it's right next door. It's right next door waiting for us. And by next door, I don't mean your neighbor. I mean the very next moment. The very next moment. The one that is always right next door. Where the opportunity exists for expansion. Not just internally, but externally as well. And the next moment is always coming. It's always available to us. And we get to grow by setting our attention with awareness on the direction in which we want to go. Right? Growth is guaranteed to happen. It's not chance, but it is choice. It's unavoidable, but it is choice. It is something we can direct, and it is part of our destiny to succeed in making those choices. Beautiful writer who has a book called The Mirror of Intimacy writes, one hint about the definition of success is that succession is derived from the same root. Success, then, is a continuous pattern, an integrated and inclusive sequence. How about that? All we need to do is stay conscious of the pattern. We're already integrated in it. It's already included in the sequence of life. Our success is guaranteed as long as we keep moving. That is a beautiful concept. Our success is our destiny. By following the sequence of the next indicated right action, recognizing that spirit is always present in the right phrase, the right pronoun, whatever it is, it always affects folks. When you say the right thing, trust me, I know this. I've experienced it on both ends. When you say the right thing, people nod and they soften. They drop their defenses. It hits the heart and it lands. You know this. We're so tuned in because we are connected always this medium that we're using right now, you feel a connection, and we're not even physically present with one another. We're always connected, you see. And so we also know when we say the wrong thing, use the wrong phrase, use the wrong pronoun, it affects people in the reverse. They harden, they stiffen, the defenses go up. It doesn't land, it doesn't soften, it doesn't help, it doesn't touch the heart. In following the sequence of choice, and staying available and aware of where we are and what we're doing, something amazing happens that Dr. Holmes talks about. He says, it is the giving of oneself to every person, every project, and every association with zest, love, and friendliness that one sees the larger possibilities in all things. The larger possibilities in all things. Are you ready to see the larger possibilities, especially now? And seeing those larger possibilities is really evidenced in all that we see working in our world. See, it's part of a law, it's a principle that things will change, that we will eventually see that change as we apply ourselves in that space of friendliness, zest, and love for every person, every project, and every association in our lives. In that willingness to be that way and to see that way, what we will see is more beauty versus ugliness. We will experience more love instead of hate, and we will see the divine revealed in things where it appears to be hidden. And this is going to happen because this is a fluid yet stable universe. It's fluid in that it's constantly changing, but it is stable in that there are these principles and these laws that are always that are immutable, that we can count on, that we can use to see the divine spark showing up everywhere, showing its limitless expression in all that we do, and having the knowledge to know that it's available to us. It's always available for us to see the face of God. As Johannes showed us earlier, in the tangerine and in the mandarin, in the honey mandarin hanging from the tree, to see the face of God in the mirror as you look at your own image, as we saw with Amaterasu did in her story, as we experience in our affirmation by seeing the divine spark in all of its creations. All of this contributes to what the Center for Spiritual Living is dedicated to, and that is a world that works for everyone. Whether it's pronouns or dropping labels, not calling people out of their name, outgrowing the boxes that we've defined in ourselves. Because you see, as Dr. Holmes also tells us, I love this one, he says, human we are, doing the best we can, and ever seeking a fuller realization of our source. Say that with me. Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm trying to say. Tongue-tied. Did I just prove this point right now or what? Human we are, doing the best we can, ever seeking a fuller realization of our source. That calls me to say it right now. Who's your source? God, right? And that source is fluid, and that source is available to you right next door, in the very next moment. This one right here, this one right here, this one right here. And so it is. Okay. Join me now as we say our affirmation together. I'm going to scroll down here so I can find it. There it is. I honor Spirit's divine spark in all its creations. I welcome its limitless forms of expression. I am here to grow. Yes! I am here to grow. Thank you, Reverend Josh. I like it too. It's my cloud shirt. I'm feeling partly cloudy today. Yes, Mark, right. Pronouns do have power. Welcome, Elaine, Lesia, and Reverend Karen, and Tali Nava, and Judith, and Dina, and Dale Aarons. Good to have you here. And Don O'Neill, and Jennifer, so grateful to have you here. And Leila Zaki, and Reverend Kimberly Hawkins. And yes, Dale, I like this. It's like the world paused so we can take a breath and realize the universal, what the universe provides. Well said, my friend. Well said. Dale, you're a practitioner without a license. When are you going to come and take some classes and get your practitioner license? Because it's time for you to move in that direction, for sure. Thank you, Reverend Johanna. Gary and Kathy with us this morning too. This is so awesome. This is such a nice full house. I just love that you are all here and you're having this opportunity to share together. This is the time when we go into our healing prayer. So, again, if you've felt the connection that we have together in this virtual space, there's no denying the connection that we have with the divine in every single moment. So when we go into prayer, which we're going to do right now, we go into prayer, what I want you to do, as we do in the sanctuary, and those of you who are not familiar with how we do prayer, we actually, because we believe as a religious scientist in all the latest concepts and philosophy and theories that are taking place. And the quantum field tells us that everything is vibration, right? Particles and waves vibrating into form. And when that vibration resonates in an alignment, when they become attuned, when they come in tandem with one another, that form starts to show up in a visible way. By speaking our word, we set a vibration into the law that then becomes entrainment, it becomes entrained and begin to vibrate together in such constellated form that we see it, right? And so when we speak our word, we are setting that form in motion and then we release that form into the law. So right now, I'm going to ask you in the privacy of your own comfortable virtual space to speak a word of truth for where it is that you'd want to pray. And in fact, if you want to type that into the comment page, we can read some of those out loud as well and put that as part of our treatment process. So I'm going to take a moment of silence to allow that to take place for you. So here's what I know. The divine presence is right here, fully available to each and every one of us, for we are never separate from that which we are. Only in consciousness are we given the will to believe we are separate. But in this moment, we lift the veil of separation in consciousness and recognize the divine that is hidden behind our thoughts, that is consciously available to us right now in this moment. We have stepped into our Father's closet and we are now praying openly yet in secret. In the confines of your own mind, know this truth for yourself, that the universe is here to provide the highest and most enhanced experience of life possible for you. As we hold this belief in our minds, it becomes the experience in our lives. Our vision opens up to the infinite possibilities becoming real in our experience by that intention set forth in this prayer right now. So if your prayer is for the return of wholeness in your life in a physical or emotional way, that wholeness is returned right here and right now. If your prayer is for the realization of prosperity and abundance and the denial of lack and limitation, right now abundance and prosperity is yours, and your vision is open to those opportunities for an enhancement of that abundance and prosperity, health and well-being, the right relationships and the healing and the harmony of the world, for the expansion of the planet in a way that it is surrounded by a bubble of love, like it is surrounded by the blue atmosphere that gives us the air to breathe and the water to survive. I'm simply knowing in this moment a divine movement in consciousness is taking place in each and every one of us, and that movement is toward more wholeness, more peace, more joy, more love. If you're feeling this presence as I'm feeling it, if you're in tune with this idea as I am in tune with this idea, join me as I release this prayer into a perfect law that knows exactly what to do, when to do it, where to do it, and is doing it now by our word as we say together. And so it is. There are these moments in prayer where something falls on the body and it just feels like a blanket of love. That was one of those moments. Thank you for joining me for that experience. And now I have another wonderful experience for you called Heather Powers.
Good morning. I'm going to share with you a song this morning that's called More Together. And back last June, I had a really wonderful privilege of writing a song that was based on a book from Mark Nepo. Some of you might know him. An amazing author, a beautiful sage, a contemporary sage who just really speaks very practical wisdom on the process of awakening. And what I love about his writing is that he does such an amazing job of pulling in indigenous traditional wisdom and how the ancients lived and how they interacted with each other, which we can learn a lot from. And so one of the things that he really talks about is how in cultures and indigenous life that they really understood that living together was so much more powerful than what we've kind of turned into and living on our own. You know, we're islands unto ourselves a lot of times. And if there's anything that this time that we find ourselves in is teaching us, that when we come together in the power of love and truth, that miracles happen. And so this song is called More Together. One by one, we are awakening. Two by two, we are remembering. Three by three, ascending in reality to one love. I am all one love. Letting go of the blame. We've all had suffering. Free of shame like new babes, the garden opening. Hand in hand we see beyond the veil of fear, and now we open to the beauty of community. We're more together than we could ever be alone. We are the soul untethered as we walk each other home. When will we finally realize, as we look deep enough into each other's eyes, that we are more together, together than we could ever be alone. Child by child, we restore Eden. Tree by tree, oh, life shall breathe again. A colored brush in every hand, we paint the rainbow rays across the land. Every kingdom lifted now to as we look deep enough into each other's eyes, that we are more together, 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 than we could ever be alone. Ooh, we are more together, 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 than we could ever be alone. Come with me and you'll see a world of pure imagination, a world of pure imagination, a world of pure imagination. Namaste.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Jason. Just share some love for them. And here's how we can share that love for our wonderful talent, is we are committed to our talent, and so knowing that so many of our wonderful musicians have not been able to do all of their gigs, we are paying our musicians their full rate while they're performing for you virtually from their own homes. So just want you to know that that's happening, as we are also making sure that our staff continues to receive their pay during this time. And we're also doing all those things prudent to ensure the longevity of our center, including looking at our options with the new legislation that has come down. But it also is going to be important to all of us. Johanna and I have increased our pledge. Well, I've increased my giving for this current period, and I want to encourage you to also do the same, because we still need to make sure that our center is viable after this time is over. So this is our time when we do our sharing and our giving. Before we do that, I want to recognize a few more folks. I see that Claudia and Steve are here. So great to see your garden last night. How neat that we could see a garden virtually. That was really awesome. Catherine Dillman is here, and that is awesome. To see you here. Welcome to our center. So glad to have you, as is Genevieve Joy and Mona. I'm glad you finally found us. And let's do a shout out to Dan for his birthday. Happy birthday, Dan! Also, with the delay that takes place between when I say something and then when the comments come on the screen, some of your comments, some of your prayer requests I received them after I got the prayer. So we're going to give all those prayer requests to our practitioners who are busy taking prayer requests through our online service. We'll also give these to you, and I saw a whole bunch of them there, so just want you to recognize that we will be giving all of those prayer requests, the personal requests for healing and wholeness that I saw on the screen here that Johanna shared with me, that my executive producer shared with me. We will give those to our prayer team. Okay, as I go down, I'm zooming down because I want to get to our pledge that we say, our prosperous pledge that we say. And there's a line in here where it looks like we're just asking for money for CSL Simi Valley, but that's not how that works. What we know is that if you're here with us, you are CSL Simi Valley as well. So this pledge is for us, but it is also directly for you. Let's say that all together now. Divine love, it's doing its perfect work here and now. Divine love harmonizes. Divine love adjusts. Divine love prospers. Divine love foresees everything and richly provides every good thing for CSL Simi Valley now. Divine love is, I can hear you at home, victorious. And you can do that divine love donating at cslsimi.org/ donating. So do that after the service, and we are very grateful to receive your pledges through our PayPal site. We received a number of them last week and really grateful to have gotten them, and we look forward to continuing to do that. You have to do it with your mouse. That's how we do our pledge. And now it's time for our gift blessing of those pledges that you're giving to cslcme.org/donating. And our gift blessing coming from our practitioner of the day, Johanna Van Gelder.
And with a full heart, I give thanks for divine source expressing itself so beautifully as abundance giving through checks and through online giving. It reaches CSL Simi Valley, flows into its bank accounts, and flows on to all the companies and people who provide for CSL Simi Valley, knowing that the giver is blessed, that the receiver is blessed, and all who come in contact with this beautiful offering. And so it is.
And so it is. Did you notice the basket? Did you see what was in the basket? A mouse. Because we're knowing that your giving is virtual. We could have put a mailbox in there, but it just was a little too heavy, and it was bolted down. I couldn't get it off the street corner. No, I didn't try to lift the mail. I didn't try to take the mailbox. All right, let's see. Where are we going? What's next? Okay, we did the announcements. I got to scroll down a little bit to see where we are. Oh, yeah. Back to the prayer thing. I just want to recognize that where two or more are gathered, this is the time when our practitioners would stand up. I know a number of them are here in the room with us, in the virtuality space with us. Reverend Maggie is here. Reverend Patrick is here. Reverend Johanna is here. John Newbill is here. Reverend Jennifer is here. They're all part of our prayer team. If you go to our website, cslcme.org/practitioner-request, cslcme.org/practitioner prayer request. There's a dash between prayer and request. You can type in your treatment request, and our practitioner team will receive it, and then they will pray for you during the week so that your prayer will go into the divine presence and be realized through love and law. That's how we work it here. All right, we're getting close to the closing time. This has gone by so quickly. Let me look over at my executive producer and see if there's anything I've forgotten in a minute here. Reverend Johanna, how am I doing? Is there anything I need to go with? I got 2 thumbs up, y'all. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Let's see. So I could sit with you all week. I really could. I just all day. But I'm going to let you get on with the rest of your day. This will be posted later on this afternoon on our cslcme.org website, and it'll be available on YouTube throughout the week. So there'll be other opportunities for you to watch this if you didn't get to see the whole thing, if you came in late, or if you want to share it with a loved one or a friend. Hopefully you love your friend. That could be redundant. Okay. We close with our benediction. Join me as we say that together. Join me as we say that together. And here is our closing benediction, and it is as follows. I'm at home in the heart of God. My life is anchored in truth. I can never be separate. I live in the consciousness of peace. I release all fear. I am living love. Okay. You know what? Service wouldn't be complete without. Got a special gift for you here. It's called Sock Cam. Ta-da-da! Live long and prosper, my friends. Wait a minute. Wait, where's my foot? There. Come on, that way. Live long and prosper. You know, it's even got Spock ears. Let me see if I can get the live long and prosper thing in there. No, I can't do it. I'll do it up here. Live long and prosper. We'll see you next week. Alrighty. Let's see. Oh, yeah. And always, don't forget. It's good for your health.
Woke up this morning with my mind. Stay on spirit. I woke up this morning with my mind. Stay on spirit. I woke up this morning with my mind. Stay on spirit. Hallelujah. 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 We miss you. We to seeing you soon. Take good care. Mwah. Mwah.
Hi, spiritual family. I miss you. Take care.
Good morning, CSL Simi Valley.
Hey, this is Cheryl and Jim, and we just want to remind you that this Wednesday night, 7 p.m., the Simi Community Salon, sharing our hearts through arts via Zoom.
Zoom. A link is going to be sent out using constant comment, or you can email Reverend Johanna or Reverend Stephen. The theme is nature. So please come with a favorite story or poem or fine art or drawing or anything you want to share about nature. So looking forward to seeing you there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Hi everyone, this is Dorothy, and this is Colin. Yeah, he's getting ready for a grocery run. Yeah, we need a few more rolls to tide us over. So anyway, we're really missing you guys. We love you guys. Hope everybody's staying home, staying safe. And oh dear, I've got to run. I've got to change out of my daytime pajamas and get into my nighttime pajamas. So bye-bye. Love you guys.
Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. There's nothing you can do that can't be done. There's nothing you can sing that can't be sung. There's nothing you can say, but you can learn how to play the game. It's easy. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're safe and happy.